Welcome back, everybody, to the channel. I spent my entire week with this 2024 Chevy Silverado EV RST. This is one of the coolest pickup truck EVs that I've ever driven. So as usual, I'm going to take you through the interior, the exterior, and of course, a POV drive. Let's get right into it. So let's talk about this Silverado EV. I've been waiting for this, and that's why I'm reviewing it in 2025, because it's been so sought after. So let's take a look at the front. You can see it's extremely dirty. You're gonna have to forgive me. There's no car washes open, and it's continuously snowing, which means the roads are disgusting. But let's talk about this front end. So we got this really nice light bar right up here in the front. At nighttime, that Chevrolet badge will illuminate. Also, when you walk up to the car, it gives you very nice animation. It has a nice turn signal animation as well. Front-facing camera, front-facing parking sensors. We've got nice fog lights on the left and right, and there's also a frunk. So let me show you how that works. I've got the key fob here. Vehicle is on. I can double tap. It'll make sure it's safe to do it. You can see the nice turn signal animation right there, and it's going to open up the front trunk. So we can put all kinds of things in here. It's got a drain. This is usually where I'd keep my charging cables, which is what we have there. We've got the windshield washer fluid, should you need to refuel that as well. You can do that. And we also have a little power outlet right there, should you need to charge something in your front trunk. The only thing is, whoops, a quick little correction. There actually is a button to enter and exit the front trunk. It's actually super hidden, and I found it right after filming the segment that you just watched. So check it out. You can actually put your hand right under here. There's a little button. And what that's going to do is it's going to open the front trunk. It's a little bit frozen right now, and there you go. Same thing for closing it. There's no button up here anywhere or anything like that to actually close it from here or inside here. There's none of that, but there is one to close it from the bottom. So if you click it again, okay, it's right here. Close it, move away, and there you go. I'll throw it back to the original video, but just know there is a button. For the life of me, I could not find a button. The only way to close it is by actually using the key fob again. So take out the key fob, double tap, and this time it's going to be a hold, and it will close by itself. I really like the RST badge, really nice looking as well, but this front end is really, really cool. It's not too much, it's not overdone. I don't feel like it's gimmicky. I do just enjoy it, and yeah, really, really well done for the front end. Now let's talk about what is under the floor, what's powering this Silverado EV. We have dual electric motors that are going to give us 754 horsepower, 785 pound-feet of torque. Now, powering those is also the 205 kilowatt hour battery, which is good for about 708 kilometers on a full charge. And I've been seeing just over 700 kilometers at 100%, even in negative weather here in Canada. So that is very good news. That is the most range I have ever seen. That is the biggest battery I've ever taken, and that's just really cool. But it does come at a cost, because this thing weighs 8,800 pounds. Call it 9,000 pounds. This is a 9,000 pound pickup truck. That's ridiculous. The towing capacity is 10,000 pounds, and the maximum payload for 2024 is 15,000 pounds. Now, you can also charge this on a 350 kilowatt hour, really super fast charger, basically, which is kind of rare in my area. So I'm really got 150, maybe 250, which is still decent. I can still get a decent amount of juice right up to that 80% where it starts to taper off just a little bit. But still, you really need to, I think I would only need to charge this vehicle only a couple of times a month. And if you have a home charger, you're going to be even better off with this thing. So next we have the side profile for the Silverado EV. Yes, I know it's dirty. I'll include some B-roll where it's kind of snowing out, but it's still pretty clean because I just haven't had a week with no snow. But look at the size of this thing. It is really, really big and really long too. It's also got an adaptive suspension. Right now we're in the access suspension mode because I have the ride height adjusted to the lowest, but it can go quite a little bit higher than this. Got a nice Silverado badge. One-touch lock and unlock on all four doors. Very nice GM style. The thing that I've had people complain about is this little pillar here. They don't really like it. Personally, I don't mind it too much, but people that I've shown this car to really wish that they kind of trimmed it back or found a way to integrate it a little bit better, but I really don't mind. I've kept the wheels like this for the side profile shot because this actually has all-wheel steering or four-wheel steering. You can see that this wheel is slightly turned just a little bit, the opposite direction of this guy. So let's see what it looks like on the other side. Now on the other side from the back here, you can really get a good idea of, you know, kind of the turn that this has. Very, very cool. And last but not least, we have the back of the Silverado EV. And I've got the L license plate because after a certain weight, I don't know what it is, but if the truck is extremely heavy and pretty big, you get an L plate because you're heavy duty. So let's check it out. Spoiler alert, look, this is not an automatic tailgate. Yep, $120,000, not automatic, but easy to bring up and put down and stuff like that. So first of all, in the bed, we have some nice power outlets there, really deep bed where you can actually remove the back and remove the glass, and you can go right through. Really, really cool thing there. Then you can also press the button down here. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. You can press the button and it will kind of give us the step, or it should. Let's do it. I think I pressed the wrong one. There we go, one hand. Give us kind of like a step, and fold this guy out, and there you go. So you can see there's kind of speaker holes there because some GM products come with an actual kicker right there that you connect your phone to separately, and you can have that, but that's a step to get in. I've got kind of like a soft top cover, but I like the Chevrolet logo, and you can fit just about anything in here. I think it's awesome. I love the taillights as well. Taillights look really, really good. I like kind of the, you know, how they wrap around and everything. It just works, right? They didn't need to do a bar in the back because they already had one in the front. It just looks really, really good. So that's going to do it for our exterior tour of the Chevy Silverado EV. Let me know what you think so far. What do you think about it design-wise, the color, the trim, everything? I want to know your exact thoughts on this, the power, the range. Just tell me everything you think, and let's hop inside. We'll take a look at the rear first, and then the front, and of course POV drive right after that. All right, up first, as usual, for the interior tour is the rear for our Chevrolet Silverado EV. So, not a lot of crazy stuff going on the door. You can see we got this two-tone kind of stitching. We've got a Bose speaker right here, which looks really good. This step is not like a folding or retracting step at all. It's very much stationary, but I don't mind that. Then let's take a look at the seats. Again, we've got this nice two-tone stitching with this very interesting material. It is heated here, which is very nice. Got a little bit of a guy that's going to fold down there. I'll show you that in just a second. But what I want to show you is what you can do with the seats. So I can actually pull this little tab here sticking out of the seat, and I can kind of yank it up. The next step would be to do, which I can't do with two hands, would be to fold this guy down into here and then do the same over on the other seat. There's actually a Bose subwoofer or sound system speaker right underneath that seat right there. So that is very much the hot seat if you're ever in the Silverado EV and bumping some music. But what you can do is once this is down, you can actually store this glass and take the whole thing down and just have a complete opening from the bed right to the back seat. So you can store a ton of stuff in here. If you've got a super long like TV, whatever it could be, you can store a ton of stuff when you do that. I'll try to take the whole thing apart and get some B-roll. If not, we'll use the one that Chevrolet gives us because you guys have to see that. It's really, really cool. But it's freezing out. So let's hop in, use the step. Very easy to get in. So sit inside, close the door, and I mean, just look at how much legroom I have on either side. And I, tend to sit a little bit closer in trucks, a little bit higher up so I could see. So I'm sitting behind my driver profile, 2 levels of heated seats, like I said, vents back here, a little bit of storage, cup holders. Fold this guy down, more cup holders. A really nice look at this massive piece of glass here. I mean, this truck just keeps giving. I mean, it's just got views, and this is really cool. I mean, you can't have it open or anything, but this is really nice. Lets a lot of light inside here. I enjoy this so much, and I just can't get over how much room we have. No center column, nothing, which is typical in trucks. You don't usually have that, but there really isn't. There's a bit of a bump there where my shoe is, but nothing crazy. Oh man, there's just so much room. I could do a road trip back here. I mean, at the price of this truck, you might as well mortgage it and just live back here. You could have the entire bed to yourself. I mean, the bed might not be heated, but you'd have it. Anyways, that's really cool. So let's check out up front because there's a lot more to go over. All right, next up is the business end, the front end for the Chevy Silverado EV. Take a look at the seats quick. You can see we got the dual tone stitching, but I'm gonna hop in because it's gonna make that annoying beep noise every time. So let's hop in, close the door. So for the door panel, I have 2 seats. Oops. So for the door panel, I have 2 memory seat settings, as well as all my window and mirror controls. Over on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you got these really interesting looking vents. I think they're really cool looking, and kind of like the red accent splits up the dash. Very nice. Got my parking brake, and I've got my ride height control, my frunk and my tailgate open and close. I've also got illumination controls and the trailer controls right there. The steering wheel is also automatically adjustable, so are both the driver and passenger seats, so very nice. You can see my steering wheel here has this kind of light bar, or kind of this bar across it. That means that this vehicle is, of course, Super Cruise enabled. So that's going to be very nice driving on your long road trips on the highway. For the steering wheel, love the red stitching, love the steering wheel, love the little RST badge we have here. Physical buttons, really well done. Even though this is a relatively new model, we still get the physical buttons. I am very happy about that when it comes to steering wheel. Heated steering, you've got a couple of different gauge cluster themes which we'll go over. The Super Cruise button is right there. And I've also got this paddle right here, or it's a paddle, but it feels like a pedal because it has a certain amount of travel to it. Like, you can just see, it's not clicky. It doesn't feel clicky. When you ever get into one of these, feel the paddle. Feels like an actual hand pedal. And you can actually adjust, and I can put a little bit of pressure and I'll get a little bit more regenerative braking. That's what that paddle is for. Next, let's talk about the gauge cluster. Everything's very nice and laid out. Of course, it's Android Automotive, so we got our Google Maps right there built in should you need it. Tells you everything that you would need or want to know about what's going on with the vehicle, and really no complaints with it at all. Very typical, very easy to understand and use. I like this kind of gear selector there. You can see if I put my foot on the brake, push up, I get neutral. If you hold it, and then if I push like this, I get drive, and all the way up is reverse, and of course the push is for park. Very nice to use. Also, when you get in and get out of the vehicle, so if I were to open the door, the car will shut off. Come back in, press the brake, car turns back on. Very nice. You don't have to do anything. So next, let's move on to this absolutely massive screen. This thing is just ridiculous. I thought it was big on the Blazer EV. I mean, the Silverado EV, it is huge. Again, Android Automotive. So that means we got built-in Spotify, built-in Waze, Amazon Alexa's going to be here as well. We've got Wi-Fi hotspots, auto park assistant. I mean, everything you could possibly need to do with the vehicle is right here. On the side of physical buttons, we only have some ventilation controls. I like the max defrosters being physical, and then we have some really nice feeling knobs for our dual zone automatic climate control. Everything else, your heated steering, well, no, the heated steering is still a physical button, but your heated seats, ventilated seats, and the way that the climate actually behaves is all going to be controlled by this guy. So I do like it. I can't hate on it. I don't like that there's no Apple Carplay or Android Auto. I feel like you're taking something that was already offered and taking it away, which just doesn't make any sense. Have the native stuff, do you, but give us the Apple Carplay. I think Apple Carplay would look phenomenal on this screen. But you can customize stuff like, you know, what's up here on the quick access bar. You can customize stuff that's on the side. You can do a lot of stuff in here. You got your different drive modes. If I press this button, you might hear a noise. Scares me every time. It's basically wow mode. It's basically full sport mode. You just go crazy, all the juice. And then you click it again, it doesn't make a noise. So it scares me when I click it because I'm not expecting the noise. It's a bit delayed. But yeah, you can have all your stuff like here. I've got 360-degree camera, of course. Decent, doesn't do like a 3D render, but it's still very decent. You can also kind of have more controls as well if you want. You can turn your four-wheel drive off and on. I obviously keep my rear steering on because I think it's really cool. Traction control, you can turn it off from there. And the lights are all going to be controlled from in here. Like I said, a lot of stuff is going to be controlled in here. So you're going to want to spend some time in your Silverado EV and really, really get used to this because this is how everything works now. So moving on, we have a wireless charging station right there. We've also got USB-C ports, cup holders, a little bit of storage here, and then we got this cool badge. Since this is the 2024 version, I've got the Silverado first edition because, you know, they didn't really have, I think they had the work truck and the RST, which is the one I'm driving now. They didn't have the new trims that are coming in 2025. So we can get this nice badge. If you own one, really cool. A little bit of storage right there for the passenger. A little bit of storage here as well. I like this leather material. Again, I really like the simple blue and red stitching. Really nice. Seats are nice and comfortable, nice and big. You fit in them very easily, easy to adjust. I am very comfortable in these seats. It's good for the long haul road trips. We've also got a digital rear view mirror. You can see here, boom off and bang on. Very nice, especially when you're driving a big truck like this. And look, heads up display as well. So we really do have pretty much everything I could ever want. I think we're just missing maybe massage seats. But that's pretty much it for like the luxury side of stuff. But I mean, this thing is just really, really cool. I just like it so much. So let me know what you think so far, but let me strap that GoPro onto my forehead and let's take it for a drive. All right, so let's leave this parking lot here. Let's put it in drive, very easy to do that. And let's take a look at this turn radius, right? So all the way, see, I don't have that big of an area to turn, but if I look at my mirrors, I can kind of see the wheels in the back are turning, and look, that is a pretty good turning radius for, we're just considering how big this truck actually is, how big it actually drives on the road and everything. It's, yeah, it's got a really big presence. This thing is no joke. You see me coming, you definitely don't hear me coming unless you can hear the tires on the road. But yeah, this thing has just been fun to drive around, to rip around, matter of fact. But the only thing is like, I worry a little bit about the stopping abilities just on, you know, the lots of ice, because there's been times where, you know, the roads haven't been done, there's been snow over ice, so you don't really see it, and then you try to stop, and the car tends to, or the truck tends to slide just a little bit, which obviously makes sense. I simply think that, you know, 8.8 thousand pounds is a lot of weight for any vehicle, let alone to drive it in the winter, let alone to attempt to drive that on ice. It becomes kind of a challenge. But yeah, so far though, like the roads have been pretty well plowed, and usually, like, as long as I'm careful and I'm not just trying to rip all the time, because in super heavy snow, this thing just, you know, will slide around no matter what you do if you're trying to rip. So if you're being careful and you're just driving normally like I am now, you're really not gonna, you know, get any of the slipping or the shaking that I've experienced. But yeah, it's just, you know, I think you can get through winter no problem. You do have to be careful. It's not one of those things where you can just drive full speed through everything because of the weight. I think the weight is the hugest thing. And if they can figure out how to keep a lot of the horsepower and take away some of the weight, this thing gets way faster, 0 to 60, which is really cool and really fun. And also I think becomes a little bit easier stopping power wise. But I've got things like Super Cruise and stuff like that. So that's been really nice to use on the mapped out highways. It enables itself, can change lanes for me, can do pretty much all of the driving on the highway or on longer road trips. So that's really, really nice to have and enjoy. Of course, $120,000 truck, kind of the top trim, you expect it to have like all the bells and whistles, which is good that it does. And yeah, this thing is it's just so much fun to drive. Got a really good ground clearance, really good view out of all of the windows here. I was really afraid of kind of the view, but it's pretty good. I got really big side view mirrors like you can see there, and I've got the digital mirror that I usually keep on, so that's been really good as well. So let's put it into like this super power mode, press the button. You can hear that sound, kind of scared me at first because it's just such a loud sound and it blares it in the speakers. But let's get on the straight road here and let's give it some gas or some power. Whoa! And you can see it like struggles to stay on the road and it cuts power when you really go for it. And that is just crazy speed from something this heavy. I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, the brakes are decent, don't get me wrong, but like trying to stop on ice with this heavy thing, holy moly, that's crazy. Like, oh, it like pulled. It doesn't know which way it wants to go when I really give it the full gas. Like, it's just like, it has no idea what it wants to do, except for, unless when it's rolling. It seems to have a little bit more trouble when it's not. That pulls, and it's also pumped in audio, the weird thing. It usually only does that when I have this mode enabled, but yeah, that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary speed. Just when you see how big this thing is, and then the way that it can move, that's crazy power. What in the world have Chevrolet done? What have they made? I'm happy it exists. Don't get me wrong. This is one of the most interesting EVs that I've ever, driven. Probably one of the coolest, honestly, because of what it can do and what it is and what it looks like, and it kind of competes with the CyberTruck. I think they're probably around the same price point. Honestly, I take this over a CyberTruck because it actually looks like, normal and not some type of appliance that I'd have in my house. So I like the Silverado EV look-wise a lot better than the CyberTruck. Maybe power-wise, I don't know, but I feel like they're probably both similar. And I don't think the Silverado EV will get stuck in the snow that much. Like, I've seen a couple of Cybertrucks getting stuck, so I don't think so. Because the wheels on the Silverado EV are so big. Like, it really does give this car quite a tall ride height. Like, I had to go to the Montreal Auto Show, which hopefully you've maybe seen or going to see some content out of me from that. But I went to it, and they told me to park in a parking garage, so I pulled up to the parking garage. No way was I fitting in that parking garage. I think it was like 6.2 feet of clearance that you needed. And I think that this car, even in its entry mode, it's easy access mode, the lowest mode it can go, because they took away the low rider mode. I still didn't fit. I think I'm still like 6'3", 6'4" in the lowest mode. So this thing was just way too big for even that. So yeah, didn't fit in there, had to park outside. So that's gonna be one thing, as a lot of garages, probably, or possibly your own garage at home, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have enough clearance to actually fit this thing in there, because it is quite a tall vehicle. If you just look at the tires, they're almost as tall as I am, the tires, which is ridiculous. And I'm not necessarily a short king, or at least I don't consider myself to be one. But yeah, it's just crazy. I also really like this this regenerative paddle thing that GM or Chevrolet usually includes in their EVs, where it's like I can kind of turn off one pedal driving, right? I can just press the button and now it's off. And also when you do that, the throttle response picks up a little bit because there's less resistance on the pedal. So it's kind of like not constantly trying to brake itself. But I can like adjust my regenerative braking. So I can like hit it really hard and it'll kind of stop pretty abruptly, or I could like gradually squeeze it. It seems like it's relatively adjustable with me, which I think is pretty cool. So let's just kind of coast here. I'm gonna try to stop using just the regenerative paddle, and we're gonna do it smoothly. Oh, that's actually pretty nice. It's pretty cool that you can do that. It's really cool. It's like a hand pedal. It's like a handbrake, like an actual like handbrake that you can use with your finger. I don't think that's what GM or Chevrolet intends you to do with it, but you can absolutely do that. But I really like the one pedal driving in this. Like I don't really enjoy how it drives without it. Maybe it's because I'm too used to it, but I just feel like I like the throttle response with, the one pedal driving more than this. But look, like my foot is completely off. I'm using just the paddle to completely stop this heavy EV. That's very cool. Let me turn this back on. Yeah, so when one pedal driving is on, you do need a little bit more accelerator input to get up to the speeds that you want. It feels a little bit less free, but it's also because it's trying to adjust for braking and stuff like that. So I don't mind it at all. Heads-up display is very nice. Displays my directions. I say it in GM cars all the time. I do not like that they remove the ability to add wireless Apple Carplay, Android Auto, and just let Android Automotive. I don't like it. I think you're taking away something that most manufacturers are already offering. I think things should be added, not necessarily subtracted. If you're a Spotify, Google Maps user, you're going to be able to get used to it easy and just use it no problem. But it doesn't mean that like it's a good decision. I just don't agree with it. I don't think it's the right way to go. I think Apple CarPlay would look phenomenal on this thing, and that's not just because I'm an Apple user. Look, you can't even plug your Android phone in here. It's got Android Automotive, so you'll have a lot easier time using the Android apps because you're used to it. But still, I just don't understand taking that away when everybody else still has it, other than our friends over at Tesla, which is more of an appliance car anyways. Ripping. Oh, that's ridiculous. Oh my God. Okay, I can't do that too much because that actually gives me the biggest headache and the biggest sickness in the world. It's just too fast, too heavy, and it stops really fast when you want to slow down. Like, nope, that's a lot. Can't do that. I got to turn the crazy power mode off. But you got a bunch of different drive modes you can customize, go through them, all the standard stuff that you would want from the custom drive mode stuff. But yeah, this has been really cool to drive, really cool to experience. I'm not sure it's fully ready yet. I think I want to try the 2025s, maybe the work truck version, just to kind of see how that is. Still got really good range there, still got a decent amount of power as well. I kind of want to see what that is, because this at the top trim, I just don't see any of them out on the road. I'm pretty sure Chevrolet is probably having a hard time selling these things at $120,000 a pop. Even with incentives, you're not even going to get help with that. So they are very expensive cars, or trucks, EVs in general. It's it's on the expensive side. So if the price came down, I'd love to see more of these things on the road because they're really awesome. So with that being said, it's going to about do it for my thoughts on the Chevy Silverado EV. Let me know what you think in the comments. I always love to hear from you guys. Love to hear what you think about this vehicle. I think it's awesome to experience. Maybe not something I would definitely necessarily own long term. Definitely would pick it over the CyberTruck though. That is a no-brainer. This thing is better than the CyberTruck, and I guess all the Tesla fan people can hate me for that. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Tesla. I can't wrap my mind around the CyberTruck, but I haven't driven it yet, so we'll say that too. Anyways, let me know what you think of this Silverado EV. Too big, too expensive, too much power? What do you think? With that being said, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. I will see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.